Here we are again, live,
Here we are.
Lashgasm Radio. I loved the conversation we were having the other day about lash damage and just sort of like how we went off into these little tangents. And you brought up a really good point, and I know that you were joking, but it really just made so much sense because I'm affected by that. So what you said the other day was you can't microblade your lashes, right? Because we started talking about damage and the trends in the 90s and early 2000s, right? Was that primarily?
Yeah, it was mostly 90s, I think. But
Mostly 90s.
yeah.
That was a real quick stint, thankfully.
Thankfully, yeah.
We didn't go too crazy and keep that going. But, you know, I did that. I had the pencil thin brows, and I'm now paying the price for it.
Yeah.
What I did was microblading. And
Exactly.
to your point, what are we going to do in 10 to 20 years from now, or 30, who knows? This is unknown territory, right? And we don't have any data to back this up. So we're in this discovery stages of like, okay, what are lashes gonna look like after all of these years of damage? If you get damage from your lash extensions, we're hoping that's not the case, but that unfortunately is a reality of our industry. You know, and I think that that's something that we really take serious. It's like part of our philosophy, and our Lash Affair method teaches very, very anti-damage protocols. So I feel like from where you said, I know you're our studio manager and you see people coming in and out of the door all day. I know you guys had said something about an alarming number of people that came in just in the month of March alone. I know we were looking at some of the before and afters, and I'm grateful that they found us, but what's your take? Do you feel like it's getting better? Is it getting worse? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, we have noticed a lot more people coming in with lash damage, and it's noticeable, alarming. So, but I think I'm trying to really pinpoint what is causing it, and to me, it looks like it's just heavy fans or not isolated lashes. I mean, we know that's what causes lash damage, of course, but why is this happening?
Right.
Like your question. So I don't think there's a lack of training or knowledge out there. I really don't think it's that. The more I thought about it, I do think it's more of a trend thing of these new artists entering the industry, having the pressure of Instagram and social media now of producing this work that's, I'm going to call it scroll stopping. You know, it's
That's a good one.
the dark, thick, beautiful. It looks beautiful. It photographs well. And
Often edited though.
often edited potentially, but either way, you know, they want, the ones that they're trying to replicate, yes, are edited, but they're entering this industry. They're seeing these beautiful, big, I mean, I agree. Like whenever I see them, I'm like, ooh, that looks so good,
Yeah.
you know? A lot of times though, for what people can actually hold for their natural lashes, you cannot give them that look unless it's for portfolio work or just a one-off event or time. So to wear them consistently over and over, so they're getting pressure from maybe their peers, the lash artists, of trying to keep up with that work and produce that, or they're getting the pressure from the clients coming in saying, well, I want this work. And instead of saying, that's actually not what your natural lashes can hold or what would be best to maintain the integrity of your natural lash, we're just putting on big heavy fans.
Right.
Or it's like one of those things where maybe you're in a rush and, you know, maybe you don't properly isolate because you just want to get it done very quickly, and then you're like, I'll fix it next time. The next time they come in with baby lashes, and now you're like, oh shit, now I have to.
Right.
Now what am I doing here?
Right.
So then you're putting a fan on that doesn't. So I think it's all those things combined. I really do. And it's, you know, we're all guilty of doing this sometimes, of like, I'm in a hurry, I need to just, you know, make this look good in this hour quickly, instead of standing up for ourselves and saying, you do have a little damage this time, let me recommend these products or something to help you get your natural lashes back to where they need to be, and then we can produce this look down the road if you're taking care of them as well. Otherwise, you know, it's just causing that traction alopecia, and if we don't catch it in time, it will cause that permanent damage.
Yeah, and that's the scary part, and that's kind of what we were joking about at first, of like, that brow damage was permanent. Right? So of course, I wish that was like how your leg hair growth pattern would be. It's like you tweeze it once and it never goes back, but unfortunately, that is how the brow and lash area tends to lay out, which is sad. I feel like I think the clients almost, I don't want to maybe say pressure to your point,
Yeah.
or like, but that's the marketing that they're seeing, you know, if like you don't know what a lash line should look like,
yeah.
and that's all you see if you're searching a particular hashtag. So it's kind of like to no fault of their own. I just think that as professionals, we need to take the time to have a proper consultation, get to know your client, get to know their lifestyle. You know, the details that we have on our form are questions about the makeup styles that they wear, right?
Yeah.
Those are always good indicators of how thick they want their lash line. Because I think at the end of the day, a lot of people don't prefer that look.
Right.
You know, it's like they think that they want that, but I think most people, given the opportunity to make an educated decision as to what is good for them, I think most people would choose to go the kind of like the long-term route of like, all right, these lashes just aren't for today. They're for, you know, forever, right?
Yeah.
But you have to respect your canvas, and that's your natural lashes. So
Exactly.
what are you going to do? Let's provide some solutions now. So Income's growing and showing. So this is our new product, and it is a biotin-based formula. It's a spray vitamin, and you have 90% absorption. Typically, pills you get 20 to 30 maximum. So this in and of itself, that the 9 times concentration of the active ingredients, you will start to see really good results in as little as 10 days. So this is a route that you can take because you don't want to necessarily be like, all right, sorry, you're not a good candidate,
Exactly.
without providing them a solution, right?
For
Because
sure.
there are things you can do if it's not too late. Sometimes damage is permanent, but if you catch it early enough and if you have the right suggestion, you can reverse some of these visible signs of damage. I am a strong believer in inside-outside approach. Obviously, growth serums topically are wonderful. They increase your circulation. They're typically filled with peptides and biotin and all these other nutrient-rich formulas or ingredients. But what about the inside aspect, right? You're nurturing the hair, but that hair is it's coming out of your body. So if you don't already have the nutrients to make the hair grow, even though it's already dead when it comes out, you're going to have that stunted growth or a stunted rehab process. So we hit them with the double whammy. So now you get the growth serum on the top, and then you have this internal approach. So you get the twofer. So hopefully this will provide lash artists with less downtime. You know, obviously you want to take a little downtime if you need it. So if you do removal and you're like, all right, gotta have a little bit of like 2 weeks of a breather. But maybe with some of these products, you can sort of shorten these downtimes and prevent them to begin with, right? If you're having your clients take these things, then maybe they won't need to have, you know, weak baby, you know, weak little lashes. So I think the more that you do, the better to support the lashes.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
But I really just think it's a gap in education for the client, not necessarily the lash artist, too.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, you know, when I took the time to, in particular, this guest that made me think of like, what are we going to do if we keep this up? We can't microblade lashes, you know, and that's where that
came from the
But,
horrifying experience that you
because
saw.
I was seeing it, and I talked to her about it, and she was like, I just said, you know, what is the look that you want to achieve, or what do you love or not love about your lashes? And she literally said, I don't love how they pull. I don't love how they feel heavy. I don't love, you know, and so I took photos and I showed her and I educated and I said, you know, it's nothing against anyone you saw in the past. It was just more, maybe it wasn't communicated the style you were looking for, or, you know, maybe you just showed a photo and they were trying to replicate that without keeping in mind what your natural lashes can hold, because she doesn't have, you know, super coarse, thick lashes. Most people can't hold some of these fans that we are putting on. You know, and I'm not saying anything against heavier mega volume fans, because it's beautiful and it can work for some people, and done properly, absolutely, it's a solution for people that want that thick.
I'm technically wearing mega volume right now for anyone that's not watching and just listening. Like, we're not anti that. I'm just anti anything that's not
damaging.
Done right.
Classic
Classic
lashes,
can be wreak havoc.
I've
so
actually also remedied somebody that came in with classic lashes that were, I believe they were even 0.20s. They could have been heavier, but, you know, that just took me back to my days of when I started lashing, and I only knew that. That's all I had available. We didn't know anything else. And I still remember, and I think this is why I'm such a component and for, you know, rally for natural lash health, is because I did do damage to people's lashes thanks to those 0.20, 0.25.
Yeah,
we just
that was because it was lack of education.
Absolutely.
Where like it was a very new industry, new service, and it's kind of through trial and error.
and supplies. We didn't have any
Sure.
other options. Like I didn't personally, like the company I trained with had nothing but 0.20s, 0.25s.
Yeah, that was my go-to.
Yeah.
Just so you know, you're not alone.
Yeah. Ooh, scary. So I think that's why I literally watched with my own eyes it happen over a year time, 2 years time, whatever, depending on their age that they were, it happened quicker. And I'm like, what is happening? Why are these lashes broken? Why aren't they growing in? And then the industry started to evolve and we had more options and I got additional education, and that's when I'm like, whoa, we can really cause a lot of damage as lash artists. About that same time, you know, I'm trying to grow in my brows as well, so it's not just lash artists, it's anyone that's starting these trends of like, let's do bigger, more, whatever. At some point,
bigger, more, faster, right?
Yes,
where it's like
breaks.
faster isn't always the way.
Exactly.
Right? And that's kind of what we're talking about to begin with, where I think that if you're feeling pressure to provide a certain look in a period of time, you're like rushing through.
For sure.
You know, it's
and even if you properly isolate,
Yeah.
if you don't hold it for a couple seconds and those anagen lashes or whatever neighboring lashes pop in there and it's adhered into the adhesive, when that goes out, you're still causing that damage without knowing it.
Yeah.
And that could be another thing that's happening. I don't know. It's like everyone wants in and out in a half hour and everyone wants like the biggest lashes of all time. So it's more, again, an education piece, I think, we're lacking in the industry to give to our clients versus the amount of education in the industry now is phenomenal. I love how much education there is.
There are a lot of great companies doing
So
really
many.
good things.
And just individual people that can provide great education. Everybody, you know, there's just a lot to choose from, which is so good to see. But it is, I think it's more, the more I've been doing services and seeing this lately, I really think it's the gap is between us as artists educating our clients, doing a full consultation and letting them know, like, just even changing a shape for their eye shape, you know, like whatever we're doing could open up their eyes so much more that they don't need those heavy links. And I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then obviously prescribing the right products. So the Grown and Shown and the Lash Growth Serum, those are two incredible tools that we now have as lash artists as well.
Yeah, again, I couldn't agree more. And I think just to dive a little bit deeper on that, I think it's like, is it fear? Because I know that's just, we talked about this several times, often even, because it's something that when we have our meetings, we try to think of like, all right, what can we do for our team to make this a little easier? And I think it does come down to like mindset and self-confidence and
for sure,
really being like, no, I require a consultation. Let's just start there. No, I can't do a 5-minute consultation. Let me get through and help you, where it's like you could feel pressure from the client not wanting to participate in that, but it really is our responsibility to just set the tone and give them the information at the first appointment so that all your other appointments down the line, right, it's a relationship. It's like you have to build it, right? So, you know, you get that out of the way. And I don't say that like get it out of the way. You complete the consultation properly. It's like your first building block to service this client again and again, and every time they come in, it's just another block to build on. And then, you know, a year down the line, that's where you have that relationship with the client, because it's like it's a give and take, right? They go home, they feel invested in the process, they feel empowered.
Yes.
Right? Because it's like,
because they're educated.
Exactly. I think there's a big difference between just telling somebody to do something or like explaining to you the benefits as to why this is amazing, how it can help. That's very different than being like, here, go ahead and just use this.
Yeah.
That's not enough for people. So I think that it's one of the things where, again, it's so new, but I just always go back to hair, right? Would you go to somebody that put highlights in your hair and all the hair just broke off because it was blonde or excuse me, it was white? You know, if I was like, oh, I want white highlights. I'm sure my hair stylist would be like, okay, we're gonna need to see you 3 or 4 times, and this is how we're gonna gradually lift that color. Now, again, I'm not talking about the same thing, but there's a process there.
It is
right,
the
where
same,
what we do requires a process. So don't skip over the process and think that that's not important. I think it just really sets the tone and preserves what we're doing. It preserves the integrity of our industry.
For sure. I think that every industry goes through potentially what we're going through right now. Think back to hair with perming and bleaching and how many like fuzzy heads of hair were walking around, brows with over tweezed, and now we're all trying to get our brows back. And now lashes, we are still new, but we're far enough into it to know that we can actually cause damage. And if we as lash artists can just really take the time to educate our clients, and they'll view us as a professional even more so. It is our responsibility to maintain the integrity of their natural lash and to give them the best set of lashes for what they can wear. So I think, just keeping that in mind with every single person that you see, and just prescribing the right products and helping them as much as we can. I think that's just going to elevate and to maintain our industry as long as possible.
Yeah, I love that. And if anybody really needs some tools to assist them during that consultation process, you can feel free to email us or reach out to us via our website or our Instagram, and we're happy to share our consultation forms.
Yeah,
we have now updated them to include some information about our Lash Snap product and the Growing and Showing. So we're here to help, so please take advantage of that. And thanks again for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.